Right. So today we are going to talk about brushes, brushes and brushes. So here are my brushes. Well, I think I'll pull out few of them and explain to you. Okay, here you are. One of the collections of watercolor brushes. Uh, you must have primarily this can be classified as natural hair brushes. So I'll keep them here. This is natural hair. These are also natural hair. Then these are all synthetic. So these are two families. Now natural hair brushes are made from animal tail, primarily mainly tail. It could be squirrel, it could be fox, or it could be ox, it could be sable. So within these also, these are called mob brushes. And these are round brushes. Alright. Similarly, these are all round brushes. All this. This is also round, but it is called rigger. These are all round. These three are called flat brushes. And this is a longish, even it could be even longer than this. A sable brush for very thin lines, electric cables, thin branches, etc. Right. So these and this one, I will keep them aside because these are meant for very large paintings, full imperial. Not really required for us right now. Should I say, yeah? What do you really look for when you have to go and get the brush from the shop? Basically, what you have to look for is the brush should be able to hold large amount of water. I will show you, and it should also have point. I would prefer, this is a round hair. These are round brushes. These are also round brushes. But I would prefer these two as compared to these, because these have points also, and this come handy. You don't have to keep on changing the brush every now and then. Whereas with these, possibly corners, etc., will find it very difficult to paint. Whereas here, these brush tips can get into the corners. Okay, without much of a theory, we'll go for the practical. Ultramarine blue. So I'm trying to pick up this color here, and I have already watered these using this spray bottle. So the color is already moist. So the entire brush is now full loaded with water and pigment. Let us see how they behave. What can we do with that? We can have a thin line controlled. We can have little thicker. We can have further thicker. See, I am pressing it further. And I think this is the largest. So this is what can be achieved with this brush. Now, what can you do with this? You can create a leaf, maybe. And you can lift it like this and create a point. You can create one more leaf, maybe. See? Like that. So this is with the mob brush. I think let's start writing down also. Otherwise, and we'll make a ready regular. Which is a good quality pen. Yes, this is pretty okay. So, where should I write? This is a mop brush. Okay, are you able to see? No, okay. I take a bigger one, bigger mop brush. Now, I take a different color, say an orange color. Again, I rub it on this palette and see that my brush is fully loaded. And let us see what this fellow can do. Again, there is a point, so you can have a controlled, right? More, then further more, then further more. This one is equal to this, and where this brush is thicker, so possibly we can have, yes. So it is possible to have much wider area covered, maybe about 1.5 centimeter is getting covered with a bigger size brush. Let's not go by the numbers. Now this is Danio. I got this from the US. This 6 number, but actually most of the 6 number brushes are much smaller. I think there seems to be some mismatch from country to country or from company to company regarding numbering of the brushes. But you will come to know the brushes based on the size of the brush. Let us take the third mop brush. This is a smaller one now. And it will give the similar, forget about it. It will take synthetic brush. And let us take, for example, the green color. Let me take Viridian green. So I have loaded the brush. Let us see. Again, this brush also has a point. So here, this brush is a mop brush again. And this one is now a synthetic hairbrush. In little pressure, thicker, little more pressure, thicker, and this is the ultimate. More or less similar outcome. No, outcome is not different. However, you will find that these brushes are much cheaper. Mop brushes, and especially our animal hair brushes, especially squirrel brushes, are very expensive, almost 10 times expensive as compared to these brushes. Always keep the brushes horizontal, don't keep them like this. This is one more tip, so that your point doesn't get affected. Wash it properly, mop it on a towel or a tissue paper, and keep it horizontal. Right, so let's take a smaller one. Wet it. Which color? Okay, let's go for violet. I've loaded the color. This one. Very thin line, nice. I'm just adding the pressure. and this is the largest. So wash, mop it, keep it horizontal. So these two are what? Synthetic. This one as well as this one. Okay. Now, which one do you want to try? Let's try a flat brush. Or before that, let's try rigger. Rigger is also a round brush. So actually, this is a thin line here, but you have to control. Whereas for a rigger, I think you may not be required. Where is the rigger gone? So I've loaded the brush again. Now rigger brush is not required to be pressed and all that. It is meant for thin lines. So this one is, how do you spell that? My wife tells me I am very poor at spellings. I am going to spell it as R-I-G-E-R-G-O-R. G-O-R. Rigger. Anyway, this is not an English class. This is a watercolor painting class. Let's proceed with the synthetic brush or flat brush. Which color? Is a big decision we have to take. Let's not take browns. I will take a raw umber. Burnt sienna, and I have burnt umber, and then I have raw umber. See, the water retention will be limited in this case because this is a synthetic brush. But this has its own advantages. Like you can give something like this also. Somewhere you may require. I think color is getting over, and dry brushing. This is a dry brushing. So you can do these things. Flat brush, 1 inch flat brush, and we have maybe 1 centimeter inclined flat brush. I use it many times for flowers and things like that. Which color should I take? Okay, my favorite color, turquoise. Load it with pigment and water. Again, same thing. And pull it out. Reducing. Dry brushing has begun. So, have you understood the great advantage of these brushes? Is that actually you can do dry brushing very easily, whereas with the mop brushes, you will require to drain out the large amount of pigment inside this particular brush. There will be large amount of pigment, and that has to be drained out before it starts dry brushing. Whereas here, the dry brushing is very simple. What you can do is, you can always take a pigment, then mop it on the, remove the excess color, and straight away you can do dry brushing. Where should I do? Here. Straight away you can do dry brushing. So this one was 1 inch and half an inch flat brush. flat brush. Great. What about, let's try this. This is also round brush, but without any point. So it's cerulean blue. Now here this facility is not there in this. It doesn't have point. So you can just have a plain even if you pull it up, you cannot do anything because it doesn't have point at all anyway. So this is also a round brush without point. So this is round without point. Great. Now where do we use these different brushes? Let me demonstrate to you that. So let us see. I have drawn few shapes here. Which brushes should we use? Now, can anyone tell me which brush should I use out of these? I have these different types of brushes. So you require some corners covering also. So let us use this pointed round brush. See, it is covering the corner also. Because of this point, I can manage it very well. Right. The triangle also you can actually use this same one. But shall I try mob brush? Let us see what happens. Now this also has a point. See, mob brushes or animal hair brushes actually, they are much softer on paper. And see how I am moving the brush. It is the brushes should not be what should I say, rubbed on the paper. For example, if this brush is there and I take a color and I pull it down, it's good. This is okay. This is correct. This is correct. But if I rub it, this is also not really advisable like this, especially going up from bottom is detrimental to paper like this. Never do that. Never do that. Never do that. This is detrimental to brush. See, the bristles have already started. Can you see? Opening up. And it is also rubbing on the paper, thereby affecting the texture of the paper. It is a cold rolled paper with some texture. It is affecting. So always pull it down. So this I'm going to call is good, and this way is not good. Now coming back, which one should we use? Again the size. Now this size of a circle is maybe this brush would be sufficient. So some common sense, that's all. So load it with the pigment and water. See, very soft. Paper should be loving the brush. Wow. Right. So now this is quite thin. Actually, you can use the smaller one again. Let me demonstrate. Okay, this will finish first. See, I'm pressing it. Here I showed you. No? Here we kept on pressing, and further pressing. Something similar I'm doing. I'm starting from here and then pressing it so that you get larger areas covered. So starting with a point and then pressing it. Softly, gently. You can start from the bottom side also and go to the top, just lifting your brush. Start from the bottom side, go to the top. Nice and soft. So now I was saying, supposing we have a house. Yeah, a bigger one at that. What do you paint that? So here I wanted to demonstrate the flat brush. The flat brush and maybe orange, red orange. I'm mixing it too. I'm loading the brush again. And now you can use a flat brush here very simply. Generally, you are able to manage these corners, etc., with the flat brush as well. No problem. So this also we could have done with this, but this is too small. Maybe we could have used a smaller flat brush. So I'll demonstrate the smaller flat brush as well. So this one, which color should we use? Yellow. See. This will be white. It's a sun effect. A little bit darker shade here inside the door, where sunlight is not reaching. That's all. So the house is ready. Just to define this roof, underside of the roof is a little darker. So our house is ready. So this is how you can use different brushes. So my suggestion is, right now, if you are starting watercolor painting, go for this 10 number brush, then go for 2 number brush, and go for maybe a 4 number brush, something like that. This is good enough. Rigor also is not necessary. So only 3 brushes, or actually instead of this little bigger, yeah, 12. Right. So 12, 8, and maybe 4 number. So these 3 brushes are good enough for you. Round brushes. Don't go for synthetic brushes. Don't go for animal hair. natural brushes because they are expensive. So to begin with, you can have only 3 brushes and start your watercolor journey. Best of luck. Thanks for joining. I post watercolor painting videos for beginners every Wednesday and Friday. So please do join.